Well, to provide further details on the agreement signed with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, aimed at restoring industrial harmony in the university system, is the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba. Ahmad, thank you so much for being on the news tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And Happy New Year.
Same to you. And Happy New Year to all Nigerians.
Yes. Great. Madam Minister, can you briefly explain why it was necessary to get a new agreement as against settling the controversial 2009 agreement, and what really changes here?
Once again, thank you for having me. I want to say that it's important that we did that, and it's because of that that we are here celebrating this great achievement. Initially, the agreement of 2009, I want to say that if you look at the composition, you discover that the committees from 2009 to 2012 and even the subsequent negotiations, the government representative are not really officers, or that I can say that are high-level officers that can be able to actually negotiate on behalf of the government, because for this kind of negotiation you need high-level officers that understand governance, understand what is possible, understand what the government can be able to do. So by the time you have people negotiating on behalf of the government that probably do not have all the information at their disposal, that they can be able to confirm that if we agree to this, the government can be able to implement this, it becomes a problem, because by the time you reach an agreement and then you come down to do implementation, you discover that there are so many reasons why that implementation may not be possible. So looking at that, we decided that the first thing to do is to actually reconstitute the renegotiation team, identify people that really understand governance, also understand the position of the government and what is available and what can be implemented, and get them to do this renegotiation. And that was exactly what we did. And that is why we are even able to celebrate this success.
Congratulations, I mean, for that. We had the ASUU president, Professor Chris Piwuna, here yesterday, and we asked if there is a guarantee that we would not have, you know, strikes again. He seemed to be cautiously optimistic of what government is putting on the table. For example, the 40% pay rise and emoluments. How exactly does government plan to fund this in a sustainable way that we will not find ourselves back, you know, where we were with all the strikes?
As I said earlier, it depends on the work done before reaching the agreement. As a government, if you have the political will and also the interest at heart of ensuring that whatever you negotiate, you have the final say, and also the interest and passion to implement is there, you get it possible. Before we entered into this agreement, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was briefed on this, and he agreed to this, which he gave us the go-ahead to actually include this in the budget, which is ideally what should be done. Before you finalize any agreement, the number one person should do that. And I'm also happy to say that the president, education is a priority for him. He calls us, what do you need to ensure that you have reached an agreement between the government and us? We told him that this is what we are negotiating, and he gave us the approval and the go-ahead to go ahead and agree on this percentage. It's not a salary increment, rather is an allowance that is given to the academic based on the academic staff. So it's meant for them, the 40%. It was agreed, and we did all the calculations and everything to ensure that we capture it in the budget, which has also been done with effect from 1st of January 2026. Apart from that, also, even the consolidated allowance, also the CATA, which is the 40%, is also approved. The professorial cadre allowances also has been approved. All this has been captured.
Indeed, and we've seen an increase in the budget for education under the administration. But let's talk about other issues that popped up yesterday during the event and was reiterated at that conversation with Professor Piwuna last night. The issue of plurality of unions and who exactly benefits from this agreement, because we've seen that fractionalization, CONUA, ASUU, NAMDEC, and all of that. he did say that this agreement is for ASUU because ASUU was the signatory to the agreement. But they are extending an olive branch to others. But as government, how do you see these other unions? I mean, did you capture them? What is your view of the plurality of the unions? Because ASUU says that agreement is for ASUU.
Will you continue to deal with these other unions like CONOA and the rest of them?
She takes a deep breath. So it is an issue.
Understandable.
It is an issue.
Let me use simple terms.
Yes.
I think individuals have a right to creation of a union. They register those unions. And of course, we can't say that we only recognize one union. There is always multiple unions. Even at secondary school level, you have multiple unions. School ownership, for instance, when you look at private school, they have like more than so many unions at that level. But as a government, we choose to deal with the most popular ones. So we deal with like 4 or 5 of those unions when dealing with the private sector. I'm just giving you an example.
Yes.
So just to see that sometimes you have multiple unions that the government need to deal with. But notwithstanding, at the university level, the most popular union for the academics is ASUU. And of course, the discussion, negotiations we did is with ASUU that we did. But I have to also say that when you come to do implementation as a government, you cannot say, okay, we'll come down and say, okay, let's separate this union. You have a lecturer in this department that belongs to ASUU and another that belongs to another union, and then you say that, okay, since this deal is only negotiated with ASUU, therefore it will only be effective with ASUU members. It's going to be very difficult. You cannot do that. And that is why we are pleading with this union to please sit down together, align, and then allow the government to only deal with the umbrella. But we recognize them. It's important we recognize all union. But as a government, engagement is easier for us if they come under the same umbrella. If they have different concerns, as an umbrella, they can agree on those concerns, and then they can negotiate on behalf of all the unions. I think that's what I can say on that.
Well, ASUU President, in responding to that point, did stress the fact that, look, it's important for these other unions to, come under the umbrella of ASUU because they will not be benefiting because only ASUU actually struck this deal. But ASUU also believes that it's government's way of, divide and rule in order to have your way with them. But thankfully, you want, CONOA and the other bodies to be under the same umbrella. Now, what are the other main agreements that you reach that government is sure that it will actually keep? What are those other?
I think all the agreement we did with ASUU are agreements that we have 100%, I think, 100% implementation. There is no agreement that we reach with ASUU, and that is why it's important that we took this time, endless hours, discussing back and front and agreeing. So we have the full intention of implementing 100% of the agreement between federal government of Nigeria and also ASUU. All the agreement we intend to implement.
You don't see any challenges? Or are there any?
No,
how do you plan to?
No, I don't think there is any challenge in terms of what they agreed, unless something else comes up. But the agreement that was signed are things that we agree that the government can be able to implement, and already we have put in place mechanisms to ensure the implementation, full implementation of the agreement.
Interesting, and we did hear ASUU president say yesterday that there will be no strike notice until the implementation of this agreement, which is a good one. Congratulations again, Honorable Minister, and thank you for being here. The Minister of State for Education in Nigeria, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad.